Smell us now, lady. Welcome to MeatEater Trivia. MeatEater Podcast.
MeatEater Radio Live, 11 a.m. Montana time. That's kind of like Mountain Time. MT.
Yep.
Mountain Time, Thursday, February 13th. It's my birthday. I turned 51 today. Live from MeatEater headquarters in Bozeman, Montana. I'm your host, Steve Rinella, and I'm joined today by Brody Henderson and Seth Morris, and not, I will point out, by the man who's supposed to be here. I'm glad he's not. Because I like Seth better than Dr. Randall.
Now that you're a doctor, too?
What?
Well, we've actually got Randall on the line. Should we talk to him?
Yeah, but
Ask him
don't
about
say
this?
that, because that's not a thing.
That's not a thing yet.
Not a thing.
Today's show, we're going to check in with our friend and newly added MeatEater colleague, Heather Douville, to see what sort of critter hides and furs she's working on. We're going to take a trip down memory lane, do some Throwback Thursday, and we're going to talk about some very exciting news that a lot of people might not recognize as exciting, but we're going to explain why it's so exciting, is a grayling, an Arctic grayling reintroduction in Michigan.
Pretty cool.
No, it's super cool, man. It's super cool. We're going to get into that. First, we're going to try to hear why Randall couldn't make it. I called him earlier. He had no problem answering the phone. He's supposedly stuck in the snow, but here he is. It doesn't look snowy where you're at.
Steve, I'll point out to you that I'm in my garage.
Uh-huh.
And there's a fair bit of snow in the garage this morning.
Okay.
I was told we got up to 87-mile-an-hour winds last night in Livingston here.
You know, home. Every time you talk, I'm going to make the noise that I hear when I hear that someone can't make it to work because of the snow. Ready? Every time you talk, I'll do it. Go ahead.
We got some good drifts here. We got some good drifts going. Why did I call in? Why did I call in?
Called it.
Because you're not. Because you didn't come to work because you got snow. Now, let me see.
Well, so the
It's
snow
like
is
bare
blown,
ground there.
It's blown away from everywhere else except for the driveway and the road.
Let's see.
So we got some good drifts here. This is right in front of the garage.
Oh, wow! Look at that.
Dang.
And yeah, that's what happens. Here's
Looks like your truck is out.
well, I need
Truck looks fine, and it looks like it's on the other side of the drift.
the issue. I'll just go through this drift here. The issue is there's a massive drift here. I don't know if you can see the bend in the road out this way. And I got the Can-Am stuck trying to plow that out, so I had to get my truck out to pull the Can-Am out. And yeah, there's an excavator on the way, but it's got to dig its way out here. So I'll just be here if you guys need me.
You know, Phil, Oh, go ahead.
I was trying to remember. I had to do one thing on here. Oh, happy birthday to you.
All right, good talking to you, Randall. Phil, can you do Randall a favor and save that clip? Because when we cut him loose, when we fire him
Yeah.
for not coming to work, he can maybe use that and try to get one of those jobs where you talk about how bad the weather is and you're like the weather guy.
Oh, that's really kind of you to think of him after.
Yeah, like,
you
you
find
know,
it.
there's a big snowstorm in Buffalo, New York, and then they send a guy out there with a parka, and he's like, look at all the snow on these cars.
Yeah. Randall would be good at that.
The wind's picking up. Yeah, be a great job for Randall. Got some business to talk about. For those of you, I know that those of you in Michigan are already excited as hell about the Grayling reintroduction that's coming that we're going to talk about. But if you're in Nashville, you might be saying to yourself, well, what should I be excited about? Well, I'll tell you. If you're in and around Nashville and or attending the National Wild Turkey Federation convention, I'm reading this, and that's not a great way of putting it, because it shouldn't say and or, because you follow me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh no, because they could be far away right now. So you say in Nashville, and they're like, well, I'm far away from Nashville. But then you say, or attending the NWTF convention in Nashville, they might be like, oh, I better pay attention because I'll be in Nashville on Saturday.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If you're around Nashville and or attending the NWTF convention and sports show this week, that's a hell of, I like that show. It's a hell of a good time. Our colleagues, Yanni, the Latvian lover, OCal, Clay Newcomb, Spencer Newharth are all there, and they're hosting the Grand Slam after party in the Tennessee Ballroom tomorrow night, Valentine's Day night. The event starts at 8:45 p.m. Okay, this is for NWTF. Get your tickets for $40. Buying a ticket enters you to win one of 6 dream turkey hunts. They're also going to be raffling off a boatload of guns and a bunch of new turkey gear from First Light, FHF, and Phelps Game Calls. Plus, Spencer's going to be hosting a meat poll style trivia. How meat poll works is you survey everybody that comes in the room, and then you do a trivia show around, you do it basically being asked trivia questions about the people in the room. Percentages. What percent of the people in the room tonight blank? Right?
You got to figure out what they're thinking.
Yeah, like what percent pee sitting down? I don't know. Whatever the hell Spencer wants to ask him. And you can win stuff that way.
That would be fun.
No, I'd go if I was there. Where are we sitting right now? Oh, so we did Randall, my former colleague, Dr. Randall. Oh, Spencer chimed in. He says, I'm on a plane headed there now. Okay. That's great to hear.
Safe travels.
My former colleague, Dr. Randall, and I did our first of our little mini tour, our Mountain Man mini tour, where we're going to colleges to talk about the Mountain Man era. We did our first one the other night, which was very fun. We did it at Montana State University. We're going to University of Montana on February 20, and we're going to University of Wyoming in Laramie, Wyoming on February 26. So go check those things out. Like, they're supposedly sold out, but I got to figure that. I mean, they are, but I feel like there should be more room there. I'm supposed to look at the TV. My cue says, look at TV. Hey.
Happy birthday, Steve Rinella. Man, we respect the heck out of you. Hope you have a great birthday. I have not forgot that you don't know how to blow a crow call, though. If you just put a little more, a little body coming from the chest right here. It'll sound way better than that Blue Jay call you make. Happy birthday.
Oh, hey, Steve. Happy birthday. This is kind of awkward.
In Tlingit, that translates to G-year-old. Happy birthday, Steve. I hope you have a great day.
Hey, happy birthday, Steve. It sure inspired millions of people, including myself. It's almost as if you're getting younger. And, yeah, it's really cool to see and keep as an example of how to live a life. So here's to another 50 years.
Hey, Steve. Happy birthday from Minnesota. It has been just an honor to get to teach you how to bow hunt and fish. You've been a pretty good student, and I like that. So I hope you have a good birthday, buddy.
Hey, happy birthday, Steve.
Happy birthday,
Steve. Shit. Happy birthday, Stephen Rinella from me and my boy Mingus here. We're out on the Mountain Lion Mountain. No tracks today, but still a fine day. I was thinking for your birthday Radio Live episode, you could do a hot tip for everybody on how to keep your head warm in these super cold conditions, especially when your hair is getting so thin up top. Like if you have to wear 2 hats or maybe put a hand warmer up there. I don't know exactly what you do. you can go ahead and say it. What a dick. But that's what friends are for on your birthday. You got so many friends wishing you happy birthday. I heard Corey Calkins had to give them all a first gift card to make these videos, but it's all good. But in all seriousness, be grateful for what you do have on your birthday, that awesome family of yours, this awesome thing called MeatEater that you've created. And as always, I'm grateful to call you a friend. And let's get out of here soon. Look at him. Mingus, come here. Come here. Are you ready to go? He's ready to go. This boy's ready to get a lion for you. Let's go.
Yo, Steve. Happy birthday, man. Hope you're having a good one.
Hey, buddy. It's Decoy Dave over here in Oregon trying to get over COVID. I just wanted to say happy birthday from me and from all of us at DSD. And thanks for all your hard work and inspiration in creating all this. And hope that you and your family have a great one.
Happy birthday, Steve, from me and old Whale. I remember when I was 51. Think.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Steve.
What Dirt didn't bring up. Oh, look at this. Thank you, Phil.
There you go.
All right. That's so cute. What Dirt didn't bring up in his message is me and him struck a deal where I gave him a brand new climbing rope, and he was supposed to give me a little picture frame thing. Nothing. Haven't seen it.
Hasn't happened yet.
No. Very asymmetrical deal anyways, and I got screwed on it.
Yeah, that was the trim piece in your camper, right?
Yes. Yeah, I didn't want to confuse everybody. It would take me too long to explain. It's actually a trim piece for my camper.
But it's going to look like a picture frame.
It is, and because I ripped out the microwave in my camper, because anytime you want to microwave something in my camper, you got to go turn the generator on. So if you're like, oh, I'm going to heat this cup of coffee up, go outside, turn the generator on, come back in. By that point, I'll just heat it up on the burner.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. So I ripped it out and we keep loaves of bread up in there, but I just don't like the way it looks now. It looks like something used to be there. So Dirt's supposed to be finding a way where it looks like God put it there that way, like it grew there,
Yep.
All right, we're going to go to Heather Douville. Heather, you know what? Can Heather see us good?
Not yet, but I prepared a drop for this, Steve, because I was told to prepare a drop.
Oh, okay.
So, do you want to read what the script says?
There's no script here.
Number 3, buddy.
Oh. No, I'm looking at it. Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Next up, we're going to check in with Heather Douville for a new segment we're calling Fur and Leather with Heather.
Phil, that's your best one yet.
Oh,
man.
Phil, that was the best one ever, man. And you know what he did is he cut right to the good part of the song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great, Phil.
I'm glad you clocked that.
Here's how I'm going to intro the segment. Watch.
Was a total surprise. I did not know about the song or I'm over here laughing, but yes, that caught my eye. That otter skin sitting on your table.
Phil, can I verify that what people can see? No, make it narrow again because you're blowing the whole effect on the after here.
Yeah.
Make it really narrow.
I mean, that's as narrow as
So is that way it looks for people at home? Does it look that narrow?
Yes.
Okay, now check this out. Watch how long it takes for this to pass.
All the way.
All the way through?
Come on, we've only got an hour for this podcast, Steve.
I mean, watch how long this takes.
Oh, it's going over to the other you.
Watch. Can you believe this? When we had those ladies on that were mauled by a river otter.
Wow, look at this
thing. And people are like, well, how could a river otter kick your ass? Oh, the angle's bad. Oh, here, well, let's do it again where the angle's better. How could a river maul you? That's 5 feet, 10 inches tall.
Wow.
That's a big one.
What are we going to sew out of it? We're going to sew it?
And that, I think I might just keep it as a wall hanger. I was going to do a hat, but I don't know. But the point being, that's a river otter, and Heather's dealing with sea otters, and that's a river otter that weighs 25.5 pounds. What's a big sea otter, Heather?
I got my biggest sea otter this winter, and it weighed 99 pounds.
God, man.
Jeez.
Imagine that thing
That's
kicking
bigger
your
than a
ass,
coos
man.
deer buck.
Yeah. Oh,
That's crazy.
Heather had, I think I posted it. Did I I think I posted it.
Yeah, it was bigger than
Heather had, she went out hunting it. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's bigger than my deer that I got.
Yeah, Sika black.
She had a buck and an otter laying in the bottom of the boat, and the otter looked bigger than the buck laying in the bottom of the boat.
That's
great.
crazy.
All right, so how's winter going, Heather? What's going on?
It's going well. You know, a lot of people celebrate New Year, January 1st, but our New Year is coming up with the resurgence of life in springtime. So I spend a lot of time in the winter here, just in my shop, and just like the rest of the environment, hibernating, resting. And then as things awaken in the spring, we come to life and start our harvest season, and that kind of marks our new year. And yeah. Is
the new year a day, or is it the new year just sort of like regarded as a window of time, like a broader window of time?
Seasonal, awakening, things come out of hibernation, new plants start to grow.
Got it. So there's not like a specific day when you announce it.
No, but springtime always feels like the new year for us. And I've been in my shop. I've been working on, I've been learning how to tan deer skins with tree bark. And I tan my first seal skin at home. So it's here stretched on a frame.
Can you grab that and let us see the other side?
Yeah. So Steve, this is the seal skin that was hanging in the drying shed when you were here.
Okay.
And I tanned it. It's pretty big, actually. This frame is
Well, it's huge, yeah.
5 feet tall, but this is a harbor seal. Oh, you can't see the whole thing, but you can see the back of it. This frame is made.
Wow.
Oh, that turned out nice.
Yeah.
So this is not done, but you can see where I've dry scraped it and where I haven't. So as you scrape it, it'll lighten up in color and it'll soften up. So it takes a lot of elbow grease. So working on that. And
so so as you're learning to do your own seals, I remember you telling me that I remember you saying that it's hard to find, there's not a lot of good places to send seals.
yeah, seals are
Like you haven't been satisfied with sending them in to get them tanned.
Yeah, seals are really oily. You have to wash them right away after you skin them, or else the oils will oxidize on the fur and turn the fur yellow.
Okay.
They're really rubbery, so they'll stretch like 10 times their original size, and I think they're hard to thin. And it's just a really unique art when it comes to tanning them. And I haven't found a tannery that tans them in a way that I guess produces the end product that can be sewn with. So I decided to try it myself, and yeah, just learning as I go.
So with Coastal Fur and Leather Sewing Shop, will you eventually, do you think you'll get where you are able to have enough volume that you're selling products made from the seals you harvest and tan and sew, where like the whole process becomes in-house? Or do you think that it'll be too hard to ever have that level of volume?
I think with sea otters, no, but with seals, sea otters, the usable parts are the fur, but with seals, we eat the meat, we render the fat, and we use as much of the seal as possible. So we only harvest like 2 a year. So
I see.
For seals, we can definitely, tan them here and convert them into sellable items. We're not able to sell whole pelts. The Marine Mammal Protection Act requires us to convert them to a sellable item. So hat, scarves, and things like that in order to try to recoup costs. So definitely feasible with seals, but not sea otter because we hunt those in greater volume.
Now, walk me through what's going on with learning how to bark tan your deer skins.
I brought my 2 totes here. I'm going to grab the computer and show you. So I have in here, this is whitetail. It's buckskin.
Damn, look at that.
Wow, that looks
And I didn't know that buckskin just means like hair off. I thought it meant like a buck deer, like a deer, but buckskin means the hair is off. I didn't know that. So this is whitetail hide, and this is like a tree bark tee. I'll show you. You can see all the bark in there.
Yep.
So this is called a drench, and this is the tanning agent. So tree bark, some trees have a lot of tannins in them.
Yeah, what trees are you using? Are you using hemlock?
This is actually oak, but the local trees here that have a lot of tannins are alder and spruce and hemlock. And this drench is oak bran. So what we did was we soaked this in lime to de-air, which is, real high pH, and then we put it in this drench, which lowers the pH back down in preparation to put it into the tanning solution. So I'm really excited to learn this process. It's all natural and non-toxic, so all of these products, when I'm done with it, can be composted or put back into the earth and not cause harm. And yeah, I hope to learn this and be able to teach this soon.
So when you come down to headquarters, I know you're working on this plan where you're going to come down to headquarters, you're going to help people tan their deer skins that people save up over the next. So will we be able to do, like, if we get all set up in our kitchen area, how many can we run through, do you think?
Yeah, so we can make these solutions to tan, one hide or hundreds of hides, just adjust the different measurements. But one of my goals is, we try to use as much of what we harvest as possible and reduce waste whenever we can. So I love to learn the different ways to use the materials that we have and then also teach. So if I can come there, if you guys want to save your deer skins and if I'm able to teach you guys, I would love that. And
we're definitely doing that, man.
Yeah. What is it like? What would the timeline be from like killing a deer and skinning it and to turning that into what you're doing there?
So you could put it like if you were to skin it and immediately tan it, or okay. So you'd skin it, and you want to make sure you skin it close so you don't have to skin it twice. But if you leave flesh and fat on there, we can always flesh it. I would say about 2 weeks.
Okay. So you'll get us set up. Like we'll save deer hide. Whoever wants to save a deer hide, and we'll kind of instruct them on what they want to, so everything's ready. We'll get set up. You'll come down, introduce the process, make sure everything's going good, and then we can kind of carry on once we get started in your absence.
Yeah, you soak it in the lime, and that takes, like 3 days, or you could soak it for a week. So that's like you do this, and then you wait, and then you put it in the next solution and wait. So there's a lot of time there where we can work, where we can sew.
Heather, if you wanted to do it hair on, do you just skip the lime process? Or is it you have to do it totally different?
It's a little different. With seals, you skip that bucking process.
Gotcha.
You put it right in. Yeah.
No, so I want buckskin. You know, Heather, my old man saved up a bunch of his deer skins, and he had this super 1970s buckskin jacket.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, you remember in the 70s, they'd put the belts on everything and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he had it dyed black, and it was all of his own deer skins. I don't know what in the hell happened to that thing.
I want to show you.
Like, someone horked it when he died. Like, we had a lot of different family members kind of running off with stuff. I mean, they're right.
Yeah.
But someone horked that jacket.
Did you guys have, like, during deer season, people would put out, like, 55-gallon drums, just, like, out in the country in spots, and there'd be a sign there that said, dump your deer hide in here?
No, but when our fur auction was Ravenna Fur Auction, and when you went to the fur auction, everything was bid on. Like, I would take this, like, this otter would go up on the auction table, right? And you might have, let's say it was otters, you'd have them divided, large, medium, small, male, female. and every one of those things is a lot, and they all get bid on individually. So if your trapper divides his muskrats into 4 piles, every pile gets bid on. Every pile gets bid on. The way they would handle deer skins is the first deer skin that came across the table, they'd bid on that deer skin, and then that buyer entered into a contract, and he bought every deer skin at that price. And it was usually like $4, $5, $6.
And that's all going to a tannery to get turned into buckskin.
And guys would be out in the parking lot cutting them in half and stuff, to roll it up and sell it as 2. But it was real common to sell them. But see, like, I don't think the price has changed. So in the mid 80s, it was $5.
Right.
And I think it's $5 now, and now that's like $1. And I think that people just don't. It's just there's not money in it, and that leather mostly goes to gloves. Yeah, so I would love to learn how to make my own.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I've just been too lazy to do it.
During the winter, I work on I try to make new patterns and try new things. I made a sealskin coat, which I have here.
Yeah, put that coat on real quick. I want to see that. Then we got a question for you, a fan question. See, that is badass, man.
That's beautiful.
Put that thing on. Oh, you trimmed it in too.
That's like some natural camouflage there.
It has
That's what I tell her. It's snow camo.
Yeah.
A fully removable, washable liner.
What?
It weighs 8 pounds. It's so heavy.
It's like a weighted blanket.
God, that is amazing, though.
It's so on here.
Have you been running around in that?
Oh, I wear it just in the house. I just love this thing.
Would you be allowed to sell that jacket? Would that fit the definition of made into something?
Yes. I can't even hear it.
Yeah. What would you have to get for that jacket?
Oh, I don't even know. I don't think you could put a value on things like this. I mean, this is a custom pattern. I made the pattern from a coat that I really liked and saved. And yeah, I have one other new pattern I'm going to show you. And then
God, that is amazing looking.
Somebody wrote in and has a question.
Yeah, we're going to hit with that question.
But this is super special. So I've never done this before, but do you guys know what this is?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
A heating pad?
Heating pad. Yeah. So
I was going to say electric blanket, but then I was like, that's a very small electric blanket.
Baby blanket.
When you get old, everything hurts. So for Steve's birthday, I am making a custom fur cover for this heating pad to make it extra.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
To help soothe all of those aches and pains and midlife crises.
Perfect.
Laying on that
That's a novel product. That's a novel product. Yeah, I'm going to plug it in, get a long extension cord, and take that thing hunting with me.
Power
bank. Going to have a 100 amp hour lithium battery sitting next to him.
Okay, here's a question from a fan.
I have it here to help with the traditional words.
Okay. You want to do the question? I was going to read your question.
You can. There's some Flingit in there, so I thought maybe you might.
Oh, then you do it.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll do it. Then you do it.
Okay.
So Heather was asked, "How far are you typically shooting when sea otter hunting?" I'm Kiksadi.
It's Kiksadi. That's the clan he belongs to, which is Raven.
Okay. I'm Kiksadi out of Sitka and hoping to harvest my first sea otter this weekend, weather permitting. That's cool. Any other tips, they ask?
Then it says Goodness cheese.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, Heather, I didn't give that last part to Steve. So
Phil's fault.
Yeah, that's my fault.
Okay. Goodness cheese to you and the MeatEater crew. Goodness cheese means thank you. And this is from Nachye. That's his traditional name.
That's great.
He's Tlingit from Sitka. Raven, which is my opposite. I'm Eagle Clan. So how far are you? Okay, so typically you're shooting from the boat. And I would say within 100 yards. Sometimes you can get off on a rock and shoot and, get a rest and aim farther, but that really rarely happens. Any other tips? I would say it helps to have a good driver who, of course, they have to be eligible to participate. by the Marine Mammal Protection Act guidelines, but well, it's not guidelines, it's the law. But I would say when you're approaching sea otter, make sure you go with the swell or the chop instead of against it. That way you're getting a smoother approach, and it helps to have a really light, like a hair trigger, real light trigger, and just takes a lot of practice. You're going to miss a lot. And we shoot everything that we harvest. So whether it's a sea otter, seal, deer, we try to shoot everything in the head so it doesn't suffer. And that way we ensure that the pelt isn't damaged and the meat is not damaged. So right when
what cartridge are you shooting them with, Heather?
I started out shooting with a 222, and now last year I got an AR, so a 223.
One thing I noticed about Heather's shooting, and she explained it to me as well, is she's not, it's kind of hard to describe. Maybe you can help me when I bring this up. She's not fighting the movement. She's not fighting the movement of the boat.
Like using the movement.
Yeah. She's like, she was saying that you have this tendency to kind of want to like somehow rule out the movement of the boat or overcome it. Mm-hmm. But she's jiving. She's like jiving with the movement, you know,
timing it.
Yeah. And you've got like having a good driver. My dad knows how to hunt, so he knows how to put you on the sea otter, but you want to shoot before they dive under. So they're kind of laying there eating, and then when you approach them, sometimes they go see what's coming at them. You want to get a shot off right then. So you want to be ready, because when they start to dive, it turns into this. It reminds me of those games at the arcade where you like are standing there.
Whack-a-mole.
These are popping up and you just don't know.
Yeah.
And it becomes more difficult. But yeah, so the boat is moving with the swell. They're moving in a distance at a different rate. So I kind of go on my tippy toes and bend my knees, and you want to like move with the swell, and you're not going to get a steady aim and get those crosshairs on them for very long. So you just want to shoot right when your crosshairs pass their head. And yes, it just takes practice. And
is there any danger of those otters sinking like a seal might, or do they just stay afloat after you kill them?
My first sea otter ever got sunk, but they rarely sink. You want to shoot them in the head, and their fur is so dense and it traps that air, you know, in the undercoat. They'll float, but occasionally if you shoot a little low and they dive, they might try to take a breath and breathe in water and then sink, but that doesn't happen very often. And you need to skin them right away because of the fur density. They hold on to their heat. Even if it's 0 degrees out, they'll stay warm for a really long time, and the belly will get green and they'll spoil. So skin them right away, and make sure you take good care of the materials that you get. But it is
like right away, Heather. You mean like you're skinning them on the boat, like as soon as they come in?
Either on the boat if you can, but usually you're cruising, trying to hunt and get as many as you can. And as soon as I get home, I skin them on a tailgate, which is the perfect height. We don't hang them when we skin them. I just roll them, you know, on my tailgate, and that seems to work best for me.
Good deal.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining, Heather.
Yeah, thank you. Happy birthday, Steve.
Thank you very much. We'll talk to you again soon. It's great to have you on, and I look forward to talking to you next time.
Me too.
All right, Phil, listener feedback. You got it, buddy?
Yeah, we've got a few. Just a reminder to everyone, get some questions in if you want. We're going to do another one of these at the very end of the show, or I might be able to catch them right now. Be fast. First one, let's see. This is about hunting history, Steve, episode 2. Someone's asking, Grant is asking, have they not used any LiDAR technology on those glaciers? Seems like you might find some fun stuff.
That's one thing no one brought up to me.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to even think if... I've been with people using LiDAR. I don't even know how, I honestly don't know how that technology works up against all that ice. And like,
yeah,
a glacier's got a lot of air in it. Yeah, I have no, I'm already over my waders. I have no idea. No one mentioned that to me though. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Colin asks, well, I guess first he says, Steve, I lost an inch of my pinky in a framing accident, pinched it in a lift. He's torn between turning it into a fishing lure or sending it to us to put in the Werner Bratzler machine.
Oh, that's a great idea. If you send it over, if it's nice and frozen, I'd like to eat it. Because I'm trying to find a way to be like a subject matter expert on cannibalism without killing anybody.
I tried to explain to my kids the other day that cannibals, they would call human meat long pork, and they were they weren't buying it.
No, I've heard that.
Yeah,
I'd like a little long pork. How much you got? Is it meaty? If not, I would put it into a I would if I had that happen to me, I would put it into a little jar of formaldehyde, and then people would come over and
display it,
and I'd be like, guess what that is?
You turn that pinky bone into a little pendant for a necklace.
Yeah, that's what my boy's collar, his little surgery stuff they removed. I made a necklace.
Oh, you put it in epoxy. That's right. Yeah,
resin. Yeah. Next question.
Andreas asks he specifically asks you, Steve, when you use fur as a wall hanger, do you leave it dried or do you get it tanned before hanging it?
Oh no! I get it tanned. What I'm holding right here is fleshed and stretched, and this lasts a long time. I can't get my angle right where you can appreciate the immensity. But no, you'll get it. And also, this is leather out, so when you tan it, it'll flip, and then I use those as wall hangers.
Jove and Figueroa, I guess, asks, or first he says, happy birthday, Steve. Question for everyone at the table. Has anyone ever had any awkward situations dragging deer through permitted public hunting areas like parks or conservancies?
No, but I'm sensitive to it.
I don't think.
Well, I mean, awkward for who is the question, I guess. It's not awkward for me, but yeah, I've carried some mule deer bucks down an escalator at a ski resort one time. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and I have tended to. I actually had this discussion with a friend of mine once, where it wasn't a deer, but we were carrying something up to a public parking lot, and I was wanting to hide it. He's like, "Nothing to be ashamed of." I'm like, "I'm not ashamed. I just like it's not like a matter of shame. I like to be low pro.
Yeah,
like I just don't. It's just I just prefer to be low profile about it. It's like zero shame. I would just be like, why, if it's a place I'd like to hang out, why even draw like a little bit of or get someone pissed off or create some headache or someone calling, even if you didn't do anything wrong, the fact that they're going to call the cop,
someone
or call
might
the
not
whatever.
know that it's wrong, and then you're going to have to explain yourself, even though you didn't do anything wrong.
So I usually just go like low profile on any kind of situation like that. Like even at a public, if you're parking and duck hunting at a spot and other people are using the same parking lot, I don't come out just like, throwing ducks all over the place.
Yeah,
I'll throw them around later, but I just kind of go like, just slip out of here, not make a scene.
I used to hunt a bunch in New Jersey back in the day, and it was often like real small woodlots. And you would always have to like be real careful about shot placement because you didn't want it to like
get on the
run
neighbors.
over, die in the neighbor's yard, like especially if there's snow on the ground.
Yep.
I just heard some horror stories of like deer dying in swimming pools, and it was, it was something you kind of had to watch out for when you're hunting those small parcels.
Yep, reducing tensions.
Yeah.
Next question.
Kentucky Thunder Outdoors says, happy birthday. If you had to choose, would you wear a cowboy hat for a month or eat vegan for a year?
I'd go cowboy hat.
Yeah, that's not even a question.
Kentucky Thunder, I like that. I like that name.
That is a good name, man.
It's got a big strut and gobbler.
I know. If I was going turkey hunting with a dude named Kentucky Thunder Outdoors, I'd be like, we're going to get something.
Yeah.
And you'd be wearing a cowboy hat.
We'll do one more for this round. Jeremy from Australia asks if have you ever had any encounters when predators harassed or attacked your pack animals when you were hunting?
I have certainly heard of them. I have witnessed personally only the opposite, where elk would take a great interest in livestock at a couple locations. But no, I've definitely heard of that. I've never seen that, but I don't hunt with livestock a lot. I'm the last guy I would ask a livestock question to.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've had my dog run into a bear a couple times, but no livestock. issues.
I'm going to give you a different piece of advice. If you're going to ask livestock questions, I've learned that you can only ask a livestock question. This is going to sound like this is going to annoy people. You can only ask a livestock question to someone that was raised around livestock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it's not one of those things you can come into late in life.
Right.
There's just too much subtlety to it. You know, like guys that really know about horses, like you'll see a horse be like, oh, it looks like a horse to me. And people will be like, oh no, he like is having whatever problem. Or he's, you know what I mean? They can just sense it.
Yeah, I feel like I looked at a horse that maybe had like one little lameness in its leg. I wouldn't see anything,
No.
but that guy would be like, you can't ride that one.
Yeah, and they'll know, like, they'll be able to tell you about its parents and
Yeah.
stuff. You can't get that.
No.
It's amazing the people that grew up around it, you know? It's just one of those things you got to absorb. So, yeah, I'd go find, I wouldn't talk to me about it. But no, I'd be able to tell you if something showed up and a bear ate something. That's never happened, but it happens. I think, just to be a little more helpful, I guess even what I'm saying, I've heard more about stuff coming for the feed.
That makes
Like
sense.
bears getting tuned into the supplement, the grain and stuff for the horses.
I think a bigger danger than predators killing your livestock is livestock killing you if you're using horses or mules. You know,
Yeah,
you're
oh,
not
yeah.
doing things right.
Yeah, if I had a pistol with me, that's what my pistol would be for. Shooting the horse. Trying to defend myself from the horse.
Yeah. I've seen some horse wrecks.
All right. Throwback Thursday. This is going to require 10 minutes from 11:35 to 11:45.
What time is it, Phil?
It's 11:41. We're already screwed.
It's over.
Throwback on a Thursday morning. Steve and Brody take me back to 1974.
This is my favorite one of his songs, man.
Did I mention Steve and Brody are old as shit?
It's fitting because you're 1 year older today.
He's past the point where birthdays matter, though.
Oh, dude, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, it really doesn't matter. My kids today were, it's so funny. My little boy, my older boy, and he's in wood shop, and he'd made a honey dipper. You know, what do you call them? A honey dipper.
Yeah, the little thing with the grooves in it.
But the kid who was responsible for staining them all put like a lead-based stain or something on there. So my boy's like, he gives it to me. He's like, you can't really though. It's more like just for show, because he says it's got like actual stain on it. Oh, look at that!
A lot more.
You can set them down.
Can I eat my cupcake?
We'll get them.
You can eat while we're doing our little throwback.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my ring on too.
This shouldn't take very long. It's going to be one of our shorter throwbacks.
Phil's kind of underselling the throwback segment.
He's not real interested in it.
Oh, no, it's a good one. It's just not as jam-packed as other ones because Steve's not participating. Seth, we'll have you go first here.
Yeah. This photo here, I just had to go through my cell phone real quick to see what I had on there because it was late notice since Randall ditched us here. But
God, it's a giant beaver.
This was, I think, the first time we went trapping together. We filmed that little thing for YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we caught a few nice beavers, but this was the biggest one.
I can tell it's a long time ago because I don't have a blue shirt like that.
Yeah. I think it was 21, maybe?
Wow.
20? That might have been 20.
God, I was probably 20.
And then we've got this video, Seth.
And then, yeah, this is just a video from the fish shack. This was an old rusted double barrel that Steve has up there. We were curious if it still shot or it'd blow up, so he had that helmet on.
I don't even remember this.
Oh, it's got a rear trigger.
It's hard to keep guns working up there, huh?
At the end here, he says, I'm going to hang that up and let it rust some more.
Hang that back up and let it rust some more, I guess.
Yeah, good times.
Let's see. We got some Brody.
Oh, yeah. Show the other one first, Phil.
Oh, sorry about that.
There's an order to this.
God, I look like Chester. Oh.
This is this is Steve and I's first hunt together that we did for MeatEater. And I found him this buck. We were hiking in the morning in the dark, I remember, and it was real hot for November.
Mm-hmm.
And we were hiking in, and after like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, maybe a mile of hiking, Steve's like, Brody, what are we doing? Where are we going? Like, he's getting real irritated because I think he was all sweated up.
That's not why.
But then we got to the glassing spot, and Steve's like, oh, I like this spot. Then we found that buck a few minutes later, and later that day, Steve killed him. And then, then I killed that little dinker later in the hunt. But you can see we're wearing some vintage First Light there.
Oh, yeah. I look like Chester.
Even vintage FHF.
Yeah.
That deer's got a bad hole in it. he ain't walking away from that situation.
Nope. So, yeah, there we go.
Cool.
Steve. God, you were young, Brody.
Well, so are you.
Good Lord.
What year was this?
This probably not, I think it's at least 9 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. So
what happens to a man? Age is like a disease.
Old age.
It's like a disease.
But I feel like I don't know. I'm hiking around just as good now as I was back then.
Yeah, I was reading about last night. I'm reading this book that my friend Ben has coming out called The Mysterious Mr. Nakamoto. It's about the inventor of blockchain and Bitcoin.
Yep.
And anyways, dudes in that world are big into, I had no idea, but dudes that are big into that world, like they were big into early internet and then up into the 2010, 2009, big into cryptography and stuff. They also happen, like that mindset, they're also big into cryogenics.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're like they get a lot of these dudes as they're dying, they're getting their brains frozen or their whole bodies frozen, and they just feel it's like healthcare.
Right.
Because someday they're going to get rebooted.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really had faith in that shit, if you really had faith, you'd go in right now.
Right. Not going to happen.
Come back later when you're kicking ass.
Yep.
Because if you're going in, an old dead guy, and they bring you back, you're still got a problem.
Yeah, for sure.
That's true.
But if you went in, if you really believed, go now.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't mind being my age. Like, I feel like hunting and hiking, I'm better than I was back then. Because, you got the mentality to just go do it now.
I got to say, ever since I started hunting with you, I don't notice like any sort of slowdown.
No.
You're just charging ahead.
Yeah. See, for me, what's happening is I've always been too skinny. But when you get old, it winds up being you're glad you were too skinny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you don't have to carry around extra weight.
Yeah. You used to be weak. Now you're just not old. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It winds up working out in the end.
Yeah.
All right, where are we at? What happens next?
Well, I was actually told to supply a Throwback Thursday picture,
geez.
Steve. And, I was thinking about just an endless trove of memories that we have together, Steve. And the one that I pulled out was this tiki bar
That's right.
in Nashville. When I was trying to go to this tiki bar by myself because I was ashamed, and then you, Katie, Cal, and Rourke Denver all joined.
It looks like you're there with Vince Vaughn, man. Steve's got a Vince Vaughn thing going on.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's kind of a crappy quality picture, but yeah, that was February 2020, a month before everything shut down.
Yep, that was before I quit drinking.
Yeah. Anyway,
here we are.
Fun times.
Yep, me and Phil making out. All right, where are we at? Oh,
we've got Randy coming in.
No, I'm excited about this, man. This is a good story. Next up on the phone, we have Fisheries Division Chief for Michigan's Department of Natural Resources, Randy. I'm going to go out on a limb. Well, we'll ask him what the hell his last name is. Claramunt? Hello, Randy. Thanks for being here and welcome to the show. What's going on? Hit me with your last name. I want to make sure I got it right.
You did great, Steve. It's Claremont, and happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you, buddy. All right, bunch of questions.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think how to do this in good order. When did Michigan lose? Like, what was the last Grayling?
It's funny you say that because the last Grayling was actually in the Upper Peninsula. In 1932 is so there's you go back to the historic record. There's some debate about that, but the distribution in the Upper Peninsula was actually pretty small. It was not as big as the northern lower. And
Okay.
I understand you're familiar a little bit with the Muskegon area of Michigan.
Yes,
So I
sir.
pulled up an article from Ben East. This article was published in Journal of Outdoor Life in May of 1930.
You mean the Ben East?
Yeah, the Ben East. And
Oh,
he's trying to
huh.
figure out if there's still grayling around Michigan or if they've been extirpated. In particular, he talks to an angler that's been fishing for grayling for years in the Muskegon area. And he cites him in this
What?
article. Yeah.
No way.
That's
The
pretty
angler was initials E.S. Magoon of Muskegon, Michigan. I'm reading the 1930 article right now. And he said, I fished for grayling. I would, in the early 1880s, I'd catch one after another in Carlton, Sand, Cleveland, and Silver Creeks that empty into the White River. And
You've got to be kidding me. Really?
so you're
That's
probably
cool.
familiar with some of those streams.
Yeah.
In any case, he said he was very concerned about the grayling being extirpated because he only caught one the previous year and none that year, and that was 1930. So
What did him
Oh,
in?
man.
What did him in, Randy? Like, why did they disappear?
yeah, it's well understood that in Michigan streams, we have sandy soils, relatively low gradient compared to mountain streams, but the deforestation, just clearing all the vegetation, it allowed those streams to warm up, and then all the sediment, organic sediment, not the sand and when you have sandy soils with a lot of vegetation, the water will seep through the ground quickly and then flow groundwater into the streams. So you've got cover that keeps them cold and cold groundwater. When you take all the vegetation off and deforest is what happened in Michigan and a lot of other Midwestern states, that water just becomes surface water. It runs right into the streams, and that pretty much decimated grayling. In addition to, we didn't have a Department of Natural Resources, didn't have any kind of protection. So unregulated fishing and grayling are super fun fish to catch. They are really enjoyable. A little bit easier to catch than some of our trout species, so they were easy to fish for.
Hey, where were you able to find to do a reintroduction? Where are you able to find grayling that seems like it's that seems like it'd be like the right grayling, right, or the closest to the right grayling?
Yep. Well, so we looked at the lower 48 and tried to determine if any populations existed that could serve as a source population for Michigan. The only remnant population that we are aware of is the Big Hole River in Montana. And actually, Montana's rehabilitation program, we're mirroring a lot of things that Montana's been doing. But that population isn't at the level where it could serve as a gamete source. So we ended up going to the Chino River in Alaska for the gamete source. And really, a lot of people say, with warming of streams and things like that, is this the right time? But what we find in these populations is that they're highly migratory in their native range. So they're going to find the cold groundwater and they're going to go where they need to go. We expect that. And it's part of the reason we selected the Chino River stock.
How many and where are you going to try? Are you going to try to cut them loose?
Yeah. So, we went through a stream candidate selection process where basically we wanted stakeholders, partners in this, to nominate rivers that they felt grayling reintroduction should occur. We then went and looked at the habitat suitability in those rivers. We did a lot of work before we ever went to Alaska to get the eggs. And by the way, shout out to Alaska. Those staff up there did a phenomenal job and really helped Michigan out a lot. So we went through the habitat suitability, and that habitat suitability, we want to make sure that, that all the things that led to the demise have been addressed, as well as competition with other introduced trout and salmon species. And we have very strong partnership with, nonprofits, angling groups, tribal governments, you name it. And that really, a combination of those factors led to selection of 3 streams. the upper, and oftentimes the grayling, you're talking about the upper part of the watershed. These are the headwaters of the streams, headwaters of the Little Manistee River, headwaters of the Boardman River near Traverse City, and then the Maple River. And all three, and these are really northern lower, northwestern lower.
Man, that is so cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? How confident are you in success, and what success look like for you? I mean, does success look like a breeding population, or what is it?
Yeah, I think if we saw grayling reproducing successfully within their historic range, that'd be a great technical definition of, hey, we've reached success, right? To me, it's more than that, because I would get questions a lot over the years. I've been working in fisheries for over 25 years, originally from Michigan, is why aren't we going to bring back grayling? We have a town, city, Grayling, named after the fish that we no longer have. So this means a lot, and trying to make a commitment. We're not going to be successful in day one, nor have we been successful. This has been tried half a dozen times. Really, the Montana model, where you're putting the eggs right into the streams, and again, addressing some of the other things about partnership and habitat suitability. Those are all important factors to why we think we can be successful now in the rehabilitation. But like anything else, what it really boils down to is, are we committed to doing this? Are we committed to bringing grayling back to Michigan? And we are.
So what happens? What's going to happen when down the road a dude's out fishing brookies or whatever, steelhead, and he hooks a grayling? Presumably you're not going to close down stream sections. You're not going to like remove fishing from these stream sections. So it'll have to be that people know they're there when they get one, to be careful, turn it back, because it's going to be a while till there's like a harvestable number. I mean, that's like a really best case scenario, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We already removed the regulations prohibiting targeted fishing. So if you catch a grayling, you can take a picture of it, immediate release. We've had a lot of interest, and so I expect anglers, they're really going to seek out these opportunities. We're still a couple of years down the road, but myself included, I've caught grayling in Alaska. I really, really am hoping that during my tenure, I can catch a wild grayling in Michigan and snap that picture and release that fish. And right now, regulations allow for that. So we're just hoping the fish will cooperate.
Man, that's amazing. I would make that trip back there to see that happen, and do that. There's a thing I've really appreciated about. I haven't lived in Michigan for forever. I left in the late 90s, mid 90s. But the thing I've appreciated about just the Great Lakes angling community in general, and fisheries management there in general, is going back and really the work people are doing to really put an emphasis on those native fish. Like the way I've seen anglers come to have a much greater appreciation for lake trout, for instance.
Yeah.
The enthusiasm around getting sturgeon back in the rivers. People treating whitefish with a lot of respect. Absolutely. Work to bring Arctic grayling back. Like, I love seeing that stuff, man, where people are kind of having that ecological awareness of where they live, of kind of getting curious about what this place used to look like, what went wrong, why does it look like it does now, what are the implications of aquatic invasive species, and how do we start turning back the clock and bringing back some of these really cool, unique fish to that area. I know you guys do work in that space, and people in the conservation movement do work in that space. I think it's phenomenal, man. I love to see it.
Yeah, appreciate it. And just because you say you haven't really seen it since the 90s, I'll tell you, we just recently announced kind of Lake Superior lake trout populations fully restored. But if you did eat lake trout, back in the 80s and 90s, a lot of people didn't think that they had a lot of table fare, put it that way. The lake trout today are some of the best tasting Great Lakes fish out there. And there's a lot of reason for it. much is to do with the health of the Great Lakes, the diverse diet items. But I tell you, if you can get an episode where you have somebody fillet a lake trout caught out of the Great Lakes now, that meat is just bright orange and fabulous, absolutely incredible. So, attachment to native species, increased angling opportunity, but the end goal is that people can use that, and we hear more and more about fish as food by recreational anglers, across the state.
Sure, man. Yeah, keep up the good work. I love seeing it, and I love hearing stories about those native fish come back. Like, it's a really unique environment, all that whole Great Lakes system, and if we let our guard down, we're going to wind up where more and more and more, no matter where you go in the world, wherever you go in the country, you're going to see these kind of same things. And to have all that biodiversity and like these unique fish from these unique places just makes it so much more exciting to travel around. So, I wish you guys the best of luck on that project. I think it's super cool.
Excellent. Yeah. Thanks again for the opportunity. And I really appreciate the attention to Grayling, and hopefully we can achieve what we're set out to do. So
right, send me a couple fillets.
Yeah, this spring is our first big introduction, May 12th. So
excellent. All right, good luck, dude. Appreciate it. Yep. All right, Phil, about to the end of the show, but what about that listener feedback, buddy?
Yo, let's hit it. Kyle, here's kind of a heavy one. What does the crew think about Indiana introducing a bill to legalize the sale of venison, and another one to legalize the release of CWD-resistant farm deer into the wild?
I don't like either of them.
I didn't know about the Indiana thing, but it's not a good idea.
No.
And neither is, like, we've talked about the releasing.
It's pissing in the wind.
Yeah,
I don't think, like, I think it sounds like a great idea, but when you look in like actual like genetic transfer that you're somehow going to like overcome like the native genome and overwhelm it and actually like create a strain of it. And I think it's pissing in the wind. And I definitely don't like the idea this people keep wanting to go down this path of commodifying deer meat and selling deer meat. Listen, if you think right now it's getting harder and harder and harder to find hunting spots because of the takeoff of like leasing for deer, like farms where there used to be like 10, 12 people hunted the farm, now 2 guys hunt the farm because they lease it. You think that you're seeing a reduction in acreage available to you to come hunt? Wait till a person looks and each of these deer is worth $200-300.
Right.
Come on. I don't like it at all.
Not only that, like, I mean, he's pairing selling deer meat with CWD, and it's like, how are you ever going to sell deer meat when
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, be like, you're going to kill all these deer to sell. Someone's going to check them for CWD. Yep. It's just, it's like people looking at complicated problems and thinking they got these little solutions for them. I think it's stupid. I don't mean to be so blunt. No, I don't want to say it's stupid. I definitely don't want to say it's stupid because that sounds like not being productive. Ain't a good idea. How's that?
Ain't a good idea.
Do you guys have favorite mounts or skins you have in your houses, respectively?
I haven't got my favorite. It's still sitting at the taxidermist or whoever's beetling it right now.
What are you missing?
That moose.
Oh, your moose.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
Yeah, I should call
Seth?
it.
I got a couple hides I like a bunch. One being a red fox that Steve and I trapped last year.
Mm.
And I also have another red fox from Pennsylvania that's beautiful. And skull mounts, I like the Coos deer.
Mm-hmm.
I just like how tiny their little skulls
you can
are.
put them anywhere.
Easy to move.
Yeah, easy to move. They just look cool. So,
all right. What else?
This is a tough one, but if you don't know it, maybe you could direct this person to someone who does. Is there a way to rehabilitate house fire smoke damage tanned furs?
I would call, you know what I would do? Call, he's going to hate me for saying this. Call John Hayes at Hayes Taxidermy Studio. Because I've had questions like this for John. Like, I'll give you a piece of feedback John gave me one time. I have a really old bear hide, like a really, really old bear hide that I never took good care of. And I was like wanting to know, I kind of kept it outside over the outdoor furniture under our patio protected, but outside. And it just got greasy and nasty. And I was like, man, can I like shampoo this thing? You know? And he said, take wet a little patch down. Just take a corner and wet it down. And he says, if you wet that down, try to tear it with your hand. When you get it wet, if you can tear that thing with your hand, don't do it. And I got that corner wet, and sure enough, man, you could just rip it like wet paper. So he's got little tips like that. Another thing I had, another thing John Hayes did for me is I had a bad, kind of a really long story. I got a mountain goat, and I got it rugged out. It's hanging right there. When I got that rug back, the hair was all slipping. Not my fault. The hair was all slipping. It's a long story. The people involved are not even alive anymore. The person involved is not even alive anymore. The hair was slipping. John Hayes took that rug apart and put an adhesive.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He spread an adhesive on the backside. You couldn't get that hair out if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, John Hayes Taxidermy Studio, he'll tell you what to do. He's got all kinds of little tricks. Because when you've been in the business that long, people bring you more screwed up stuff. Do you know what I mean? All you do is deal with people's mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
This will be an easy one to answer because we've had someone on the podcast, but just so you can remind this person, Phil is asking for an episode on hearing loss. And I think we've done a few with Grace from Otapro.
Yep.
Yeah, just go back and find those. I wish we could think of the number, but we've done two. We've done two with an audiologist about why that's happening to you. Why when you're laying in bed at night, you're listening to wee. Keeps you awake.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Brody, I'm going to direct this one at you because maybe you've seen this show, but a lot of people have been asking if we've watched American Primeval on Netflix.
You know, I did watch that.
I did too, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And there's like some cool historical accuracies in it, but it's also, you know, Hollywood. Like, I don't want to give it away to, you know, people that haven't seen it, but there's a really stupid scene with wolves attacking, like busting through a cabin and trying to attack people, like shit that would never happen.
Yeah.
But like the Jim Bridger stuff where he was running the fort, that's all, and his run-in with Brigham Young, like that's all, that stuff all happened. It was a cool show.
I thought it was good.
Cool. I think you gave an update on this, Steve, for an episode that maybe hasn't aired yet, or it was trivia or something. But Dakota's asking for a punt gun update because I know we made some strides in that department.
From Dakota Punts. We're getting very close to shooting it. Just last week we were working on kind of a way to, you can't mount it rigid. It's got to move. So we're working on a mount. But yeah, we would have shot it, but we're just having a real streak of bad weather right now. It's just not fun time to be out blowing your hand off trying to shoot your punt gun.
29 below this morning.
Yeah.
Needs to warm up.
Well, we will do one more, and this is kind of like a very broad, generic question, but hey, it's your birthday, Steve, so I'm going to put you on the spot. In your 51 years, this is from Tyler, do you have a favorite hunting memory?
No.
All right, thanks, Tyler. That'll do it for today's episode.
Just the whole package of it I like a lot. I'd have to think about that for a long time.
Yeah, it's a tough question.
I know what one you talk about a lot with a lot of enthusiasm
Tell
is
me more.
the youth deer season hunt.
Oh, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I would say that, but that's pretty recent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like hunting taking the kids youth deer hunting. But then taking any kind of stuff. Younger people can't picture, because I wouldn't have pictured it when I was younger. You just can't, I might as well not even say it because you just can't picture it. When you get older, if you have kids, and you should, I can't even explain it. It just winds up being so much more fun to do stuff with them.
Like when I think about me getting my first buck versus my kid getting, it's like, there's no comparison.
Yeah. I would rather hunt one day with my kids than like 3 days without them.
Mhm.
It's just more fun, man. I just like it. But I wouldn't expect anybody to understand that. But like I said, I recommend having kids if you can have kids. It gives you a good sense of, I don't know, man. It gives you a good sense of purpose.
Cool. Well, we've got one more thing to read before the end of the show about a call to action for our listeners.
Oh!
Scroll down.
I got to get the hang of this hosting. Folks, before we go, we're in need of some fresh hot tip-offs. Man, I could make a hot tip-off every damn day.
Well, we could use some more, but that's one of the reasons why we're reaching out to the people.
I got one for you right now.
Okay, let's hear it.
When you cook deer meat and you got leftover deer meat the next day, slice it real thin, get a bunch of butter in a pan, put a shitload of Frank's Red Hot in that butter, and then stir that meat in there and eat that.
Buffalo
deer meat strips. Buffalo leftovers is what they call that. We're in need of some fresh hot tip-offs. Send us a video this is poorly written. Who wrote this?
I'm not going to throw him under the bus.
Send a video of what you... No, it is well written. Send a video of what you believe to be your outdoor tips to our Radio Live email address with hot tip-off in the subject line. So here's all you do. Make a hot tip-off. A hot tip-off is where you go, welcome to another hot tip-off, and then you explain a hot tip for outdoorsmen.
Quickly explain.
30 to 60 seconds.
30 to 60
preferably.
seconds. Write hot tip-off in the subject line and send that son of a gun over to radio@themeateater.com. 30 to 60 seconds. Film it vertically. Okay?
Family friendly.
Family friendly. If we use your video, we're gonna it'll be a showdown. These are 1-to-1 showdowns. So you send your hot tip off in. We're gonna match it with another hot tip off and see who wins. If you win the hot tip off, the best hot tip off of the week, then you win cool prizes. We'll send you cool prizes from MeatEater brands. We'll send you cool prizes from one of our amazing partner brands. Whatever. You'll be rewarded when you make a 30 to 60 second hot tip and send it, subject line, hot tip off, to radio@themeateater.com. Leave your pants on while making the video. That wraps this week's program. I should tell you my story about Greg Fonz.
Does that have to do with pants?
Yeah. I'll just tell it real quick. Before I really knew Greg Fonz, he's got his spearfishing shop.
Mm-hmm.
I'd was texting with him about a question I had about how to rig something. And he's sitting there in an apron, like a shop apron.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know the guy. And he's explaining, and eventually he turns toward the other workbench, just this bare ass. Dude, I was like, what a freak, man. Then later I just realized his sense of humor, but it's so All right, stay classy. MeatEater Radio Live. See you next week.